Oh look, a new Total War 3 Kingdoms trailer. Yellow Turban Rebellion trailer. Interesting. Let's have a look.
Suffering. Corruption. It ends today. The mandate of heaven is lost. The Han must be overthrown. Our strength is not in our steel, but in our numbers. The yellow sky must rise.
Very cool. Very cool. It's so yellow because it's the Yellow Turbans. Is this a faction reveal for this new, totally historically authentic game? The historical mode which we've known nothing about? Is this it? Well, we'll find out, guys.
And until it does, the earth will run red.
As opposed to yellow, obviously, right? Humans don't have yellow blood.
With blood!
Very cool. Very cool. What? What's this? DLC on the first day? CA! CA. Well, it doesn't surprise me that after a period of controversy, after which you completely turn parts of the community against you with your treatment of them, and your complete and utter disregard for what they think about these games and where these games should be heading, about their concerns, about what you're doing to old games, and notions of agenda pushing and money grabbing, with your community leaders disrespecting the community and treating us like dirt. The last thing that you should be doing is this. Creative Assembly, we have faithfully followed you, many of us, for well over 20 years now, nearly. I myself have been a massive Total War fan since Medieval 1, what is that, 15 years? 15 years of buying your games, playing your games, and putting up with some of the sketchy design choices and sketchy business practices. And the thing is, I'm fed up with putting up with the sketchy business practices. I can put up with sketchy design practices, because at the very least, some of those things are not done by laziness or even terrible game designing, which is bad risks, not turning out to be how you hoped they would be. But hey, whatever. Instead, after a period of controversy, you put out this. Why did you choose to do this? Why did you choose to put this out immediately after a huge shitstorm? I just don't understand. At this point, it's pretty clear there's a bit of both, not just malignant intention, but also just stupidity. It's a bit of both. This is a clear case of stupidity. This is exactly the type of business practices that don't get you new fans and lose you old ones. Most gamers do not like this. And why don't they like this, people? Well, it's very simple. Whereas we have the mandatory update that changes the game, that messes with the game, that didn't really need to be made, we now have this where they have fully completed parts of the game, or at the very least almost finished parts of the game, which can be put in there regardless, and said remove them so that they can put them on as DLC for pre-orders. Do you see what I mean, people? Nobody likes this. This is sketchy business practices. Yes, the DLC may remain free for like a little bit longer than most game developers and publishers would allow, but that's still taking a finished part of the game out of it completely just so you can make a bit more money out of your customer base. You're just trying to exploit them at this point rather than actually give them a good finished product, which, by the way, you have a very terrible habit of not giving us. So why you think this is the best choice, I just don't know. They've been doing this pretty much since Rome 2, and I think it's about time that the community realises that in order for this to stop, we have to complain, we have to make CA aware that we do not like this practice, and stop them. And we do know that CA, after a lot of bickering from the fans, do tend to acquiesce. However, it's pretty clear that they need to make sure that they realise that, no more taking parts of the game out. And this includes even the blood mods. Yes, the blood mods are cheap, but still, that stuff can be put into the game and have an option to turn on and off. We don't need to buy it. Again, an exploitative practice to make as much money off the consumer as possible, rather than just give us a full package for £60. Why should I pay £60 for a game that's not even completely finished? You just keep removing stuff from it in order to make me pay even more. So in the end, I'm not paying £60 for a full game, I'm paying £70 for a full game. Because how much is this DLC going to cost after it's no longer free? I have reason to believe it'll be quite a bit. I mean, it's not just any old faction. This is a faction that has game-changing options. Like the Yellow Turban are a unique faction that play differently and have their own tech tree, they have their own units, way of fighting, their own hero units. Completely changes the game in many ways, you can argue. This isn't just removing blood and gore, this is on par with removing chaos from Warhammer, the original Warhammer game, as free DLC. You know, a very important faction, a very popular faction that's, again, removing parts of the game that change the game completely. If it's not just pandering and treating your customers like garbage and insulting them, that's going to make you broke. It's stuff like this. Now, gamers need to vote with their wallets, like you did with Thrones of Britannia. Thrones of Britannia dropped significantly, not just because it was a terrible game, but because people were not interested in it. It looked exactly like it looked like a Attila expansion pack sold for more than it's actually worth. And this is just the typical corrupt practices that CA like to practice on us Total War fans since Rome 2. And people complain, yeah, but it's Sega. Is it Sega though? Is it Sega? Considering CA have their own problems. Do what's right, guys, and don't buy this DLC. Do not pre-order this game. Make sure CA are aware that this is not how they should be running their business if they want to keep their loyal customer fan base. So anyway, until next time, guys, it's been your boy, and I'll see you later.